All right, everybody, welcome to the Press Playbook, where we bring on a different BAM team member each week to showcase the placements that they've gotten for some of their clients. My name's Kendall. I am your host, and today we have on Samantha. Samantha, welcome.
Hi, Kendall. Thank you for having me on to talk about our client Modern Life.
So excited to have you. Why don't we just dive into talking about your role here at BAM, what you do, and then we can go into Modern Life after that.
Definitely. So, I am an account manager here at BAM. I work on clients in all different industries from insurance to fintech to auto, all the fun things. And I'm responsible for day to day communication with clients, strategy, media relations, and all that fun stuff.
You're running the whole gambit. That's what I hear. You're a big
Exactly.
girl. So I want to make sure we can get into your client and into the pitch. So tell me a little bit about Modern Life, what they do. Let's start there.
Yeah. Modern Life is an AI powered life insurance brokerage transforming how advisors serve their clients.
And when it came to this news, what was the news that you wanted to share or the hook that you wanted to highlight?
Yeah. So Modern Life was gearing up to announce their 20 million Series A funding with lead investor Thrive Capital. So that was what we were really leaning into for this announcement.
And we know funding, when it comes, it comes. So you got to jump on that. So let's kind of shift a little bit. Let's dive into the actual pitch. So can you walk us through that pitch? What did it say? What made it stand out for maybe other companies who have received similar funding? Break that down for us a little bit.
So for this pitch, it in addition to sharing the funding, how much was raised, and those lead investors, it also really dove into the AI that Modern Life was using that really made them stand out from the crowd of their traditional competitors, knowing they are more so I know I already said it, but that traditional industry, life insurance has been around for years and years. They are really taking on the mission to use AI and technology to make the process more seamless, faster for advisors who are selling life insurance to their clients. And
Right?
so, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say AI is everywhere. AI is absolutely everywhere.
Exactly. And so, for this announcement, we really wanted to use it as that hook because reporters and just the general, population love to hear how AI is transforming and being used in different sectors of their everyday life.
When you're talking about AI and how they've kind of started integrating that, was this strategy shifted a little bit for the reporters that you were going after to kind of go after some of those AI reporters, or is that something that you guys have always done, or is this kind of a new highway for you guys?
So for this one, it was actually an interesting case where we could have gone after those AI reporters, but there was a really relevant fintech reporter who we wanted to cover this news and break this news. So even though AI was our catch, it wasn't the main focus for the specific reporter.
How did you identify that fintech reporter? Was that somebody that you guys have had a relationship with, or how did you know that that reporter was the right, or let me actually rephrase, was the perfect person for this pitch in this news?
Yeah, so we worked with Ryan Lawler at Axios, and a couple months prior, another client of ours actually worked with Ryan to announce their Series E funding. And this funding was in the same space as Modern Life, not so much life insurance, but just the insurance industry. So we knew this was along his coverage area. It's under that fintech realm, which is his main focus. And he has been such a pleasure to work with other clients. These two instances aren't our first and second time. So we just knew he was the perfect fit with the relationship that our my coworkers have built up over the past couple of years.
And when it came to this particular pitch for Axios, Was there a lot of back and forth? Did you give enough information in the pitch where he was kind of like, oh, this is 100% down my alley? You know, what was that like? And maybe you can explain the pitch like a little bit more. What was included in it? Are there any tips that you can give for people pitching funding? Like this should 100% be in it.
Yeah. So for this pitch, in addition to all the AI messaging and what Modern Life was doing with AI, we also really wanted to call out those lead investors, which are names known in just the health and life insurance realm. So Northwestern Mutual is a big one, Thrive Capital is a big one. And these are companies, Northwestern in specific. These are big ones that are in the industry, and now they're working with Modern Life to modernize those industries. So we wanted to call that out as one of our big hooks. And then also, we wanted to make sure that even though we were giving all of the compelling details up front, we then gave him the full press release at the bottom. We didn't want to hold up the process by making it too much back and forth. So we gave him, this is what we're announcing. Here are the investors. This is why it's important. If you want to check out all additional details, it's right below for you.
Super helpful. And we hear it all the time. They don't want back and forth. We want one email response. We're good for everyone involved. Before we move on to the outcomes, what tips can you give for founders who want to approach the right reporters in the right way for, let's just say, funding news in particular?
Something important to keep in mind is these reporters are people too. Just because you're reaching out to them with something business, you want them to cover your story, you need to take into account their schedules, what they've been covering. Is it actually a fit, and how can you help them in their coverage? A big one we did here with Ryan is we weren't too set on a date we wanted to announce. We told him, hey, we really want you to cover and break this news. We can be flexible from this date to this date. Is there any time within this that would work best for you to cover? It's showing that two-way relationship, not just we need something from you. So really being flexible, really gearing, or not gearing, but really getting into that human side of the relationship.
For sure. That's actually a really interesting approach, especially for funding news. I feel like a lot of times people are like, this is when it's coming out. This is when we want it out. So I think, being able to be flexible and really build that relationship, like I'm trying to help you and you're helping us. This is a two-way street. Super, super valuable. So let's move on to the impact and the outcome of your results. So break down, how were the announcement results? What were those? Just explain that a little bit for us.
Yeah, so following Axios going live the morning of the announcement, they were given an hour of exclusivity for this news. So we honored that, we gave that to them. And then after the press release went live an hour later, we ended up securing 30 plus pieces of coverage in target publications for Modern Life. So this covers, VC, startup, insurance. Another big one for Modern Life is wealth management, because not only is Modern Life offering life insurance as something everyone should have and have access to, but also it's a great wealth building strategy when done correctly. So we wanted to make sure we hit every target audience that could benefit from Modern Life as possible.
Absolutely. You guys nailed it with 30 plus collateral. So that's
Thank you.
So let's go into some takeaways, some lessons for founders who are listening. If you could give one piece of advice to a founder looking to land press, what would it be? And I know that's a loaded question. So this one is hard.
Yes. And there's so much advice that I could give, and I don't want to toot BAM's horn or anything, but my biggest piece of advice is if you have an announcement coming up that you really want to make a big splash with, it is best to just get in front of it, hire a PR agency that can really help you nail down timing. Messaging is a big one, and then also leveraging the relationships that the PR agency has to really get the news to the core audience you want, and then to every other media and the mass audience to really raise that brand awareness.
And you guys work with a lot of companies and a lot of founders. Is there something that you see consistently, whether it's in some of your briefings or, in some of those get started calls, where you notice founders do make mistakes in their approaches to storytelling or the angles that they offer? Do you ever see commonalities between founders and what they offer?
Yes. So founders are very often excited about the products and the news they're offering and sharing, that they often forget to tie it to a bigger picture of what they're solving for or why people should care about the news. And it really ends up missing the mark and missing the coverage because they don't connect it to something everyone should care about. So my advice to them is always look at the bigger picture. Why are you announcing this? Why are you sharing this news? And why should people care?
Absolutely. Always tying it in is huge. And I feel like everyone understands we all are excited about products and we know how excited founders can be. And I feel like working with a PR agency to really help narrow in kind of that excitement and the impact of products is so beyond valuable, just to streamline that process to the media. I feel like that's such a huge benefit of BAM, is that you guys can really work so well with companies to bring out stories that maybe they wouldn't have thought about themselves, or angles to things that they couldn't or didn't think about themselves. So Samantha,
Exactly.
I'm going to ask you one more loaded question here. One more takeaway. What's something only publicists can understand about storytelling that founders should know? And you kind of just touched on that. Is there anything else that you can think of with that?
Yeah. Storytelling takes time. It's not an instant process. There's a lot that goes into it. We really want to dive into all the nitty gritty details, share why it's important. Is there any data that really backs up your claim? And with storytelling, we want to be able to work with really relevant reporters who we need to build trust with in order for them to want to work with our companies and really tell our stories. So I would just say, if you're a founder who's looking to make a big splash and get a story out there, know it's going to take time. Know you need all of the details to make a great story. And then also just make sure you're building trust with reporters so you can get that great coverage.
And there you have it, folks. Samantha, you could not have said it better. Thank you for coming on. This was beyond valuable for everyone listening. We post these weekly, so stay tuned for our next feature with another BAM publicist. Samantha, thank you. Loved having you
Thank
on.
you so much, Kendall. This was fun.
It was.